This acorn accidentally broke a branch and fell from the tree, rolling onto the ground. It separated from the tree and curiously examined its own body. Then, the acorn noticed a patch of land bathed in sunlight. It rushed over and checked again and again, deciding that this was the perfect place to build a new home. Suddenly, all the acorns on the oak tree fell to the ground like raindrops. Each acorn that landed immediately dug a hole and buried itself, all striving for their own growing environment. When the acorn opened its eyes again, it found that all the other acorns around it had buried themselves in the soil, and the sunlight above its head was blocked. The acorn decided to leave and find a place full of sunshine. The other acorns looked at it in disbelief, but the acorn still resolutely left the land where it had been growing. As soon as it stepped out of the grass, it found a spot that was bathed in sunlight. But when it happily jumped onto it, it discovered that it was a moss-covered rock, and the slippery surface sent the acorn into the water. Then it came to another patch of grass, thinking this was its home, but it turned out to be on the head of a toad, so the acorn had to look for another place. It came to a bird's nest, but was driven out by the birds inside. The acorn climbed onto a huge mound of dirt, just about to bury itself, when it accidentally fell into a tunnel. It turned out to be a mole's burrow. The acorn was ejected from the hole by a mushroom and almost got eaten by the mole. With nowhere else to go, the acorn ran behind a rock and felt utterly heartbroken. To make matters worse, raindrops began to fall on the ground, eventually turning into a downpour. The acorn could only put on its hat and look for a place to shelter from the rain. All the animals had homes, but every place seemed to reject the acorn. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck from the sky. The acorn lost its balance and accidentally fell into a huge pit. Finally, it could no longer hold back its sadness. It couldn't help but cry. But just at that moment, the acorn remembered its dream of becoming a golden oak tree, and this thought filled it with strength. The acorn began to use its hands to pile up soil continuously, filling the hole bit by bit and overcoming any obstacles it encountered. In the end, the acorn built its home. The next day, it basked in the sunlight and stood proudly on the mound of dirt. It finally welcomed its own spring and realized that all the difficulties it had experienced were worth it.